just to say, there I was on a hot summer's day at Brighton Beach, with the sun baking down on me. And I had my swimming costume on, barefoot, and I put my hand into the sand and I scooped up part of the sand. There was obviously thousands, maybe tens of thousands of these sand granules there. And then I looked at the beach, and it was 2 or 3 miles long, and there must be so much sand there. And very slowly, the sand started to drip out of my hand, and I was left with just one grain. And a voice came into my head, and it said, now imagine the sand on all of the beaches of Earth. And that was thousands and thousands of miles of beaches. And it said, I am the great maths teacher of the universe, and I'm just going to tell you something. And that is that one grain of sand that you just picked up is the probability that if you could scoop into all of the sand on Earth, pick one out, that is the chance that you exist. And if you take your DNA, all right, and the probability of 60 billion to 1, and you take the creation of the universe and all those kind of it's trillions to 1 that you exist. Now, if somebody gave you the gift of life with that probability, that's like winning the lottery 10 times in a row. Would you not just be grateful at the universe and what it had done for you? Of course you would. And that is a chance that you're just alive. So I'm going to make an incredibly bold statement, and then I'm going to go and prove it to you. And then in there, I'm also going to give you a very simple exercise that you can do by yourself. And at the end, we'll just do an exercise where we can do that in a much more powerful way, but it works a lot better in a group. And that statement is, gratitude has the power to heal, energize, and change lives. So let me take you on the journey. The first thing is just to understand gratitude, and there are 2 things that come out of gratitude. The first thing is that there is an affirmation that there is goodness somewhere, something good has happened. That's really great. But most importantly, there's an acknowledgement that that goodness is outside of ourselves, that there is another force that gave that goodness, and that's what makes it tremendously powerful to our subconscious mind. And it isn't just about things like thank you. It's like being a grateful person is very different from just being grateful for this. You know, I'm grateful that I won the lottery. I'm grateful that I got a brand new car. I'm grateful I got a job promotion. That's very different from living a thankful life. So just to tell you another story, which is true about my life and the way I grew up, and probably explains why I think the way I do. But by the time I was 1 year old, I was very ill. And I have no memory of it, but my mother tells me about it, and she used to tell me about it all the time. And on this particular day, the doctor said, make peace with your child, he won't be alive tomorrow morning. The good news is, just to let you know, that turned out okay, just in case, because that side was a bit terrifying. Make your peace, he won't be around tomorrow morning. And she went and prayed, actually, and she left me with my grandmother. And I was okay the next day, all right? But it affected her quite dramatically about me and my life. And then when I was about 5.5 years old, I was in Nepal, and I ended up in a kind of, not a physical fight, but a very near virtual fight with a snake, which was very poisonous, and I survived that, all right? Survived it, yes, but did it do anything to me? Yes, it did. I used to have dreams, all right, about snakes and terrifying things until I was about 30. And that's how dramatic the kind of event was. But the thing that made the biggest difference was about 16 when I went back to India for the first time. And we have flat roofs there rather than the ones that we got here. I was climbing up to the flat roof. I was 16, so that's boisterous, so you do silly and stupid things. And I tried to climb over. All right, and there was this very large, thick, rusty nail that was in the wall that I was using to prop myself over with. And that nail came out. All So I, in my imagination, was going about to smash and fall down about 30, 40 feet and probably die. And the world just slowed down, I can tell you. All right? Totally slowed down. I had the feeling that I was in total control of the universe around me. All right? I could see every part of the bricks that were in front of me to the point where I could see the dust particles on there. And I managed, all right, to put that nail right back in, climb down the stairs easily. The moment I got to the ground floor, my legs collapsed. I mean, because I was 16 now, I didn't understand science, I didn't understand biology, there was nobody around, I was terrified maybe I'd done the wrong thing anyway, and so I was scared of being told off. I laid there for an hour because my legs would not move. But the one thing it did do, all right, was teach me the value of life and being alive. And I can tell you that if you realise that your life could go in 1 second, all right, and you should just look around what's there, the greatest gift that you've got is the next minute that you're alive in. And if you can connect to that in the way that we can connect to the taste of the strawberry or the taste of the biscuit, it makes a dramatic difference to how you will live your life. And you can end up living a grateful life, which is really, I think, where you believe that all of life is a gift. Even the difficult things that happen to us are a gift. So if you want to understand what goes on, if you win the lottery, 10 million quid, about 18 months later, about half the people lose that money. I don't know how somebody can get through 10 million, but there's an awful lot of shoes that you can buy for that, and there's a lot of Ferraris that you can buy for that, but people tend to do that, and 50% of people lose that money. Equally, people that have a car accident and get into a wheelchair or become paraplegic, now they suffer for about a year. Well, what's amazing is that after 1 year, they're back to the level of happiness that they had before and the level of gratitude that they had before, because we adjust. And they start to appreciate all of life. So butterflies, amazing things if you've ever been to a butterfly farm. All right, we just never take the time to go and look at those kind of beautiful things. The universe, if you just understood how big it is, billions and billions of stars out there, just the way it got created and how life on Earth gets formed, it's just a miracle that we're alive and we don't live that life the way it is. And that's because we get used to it. And you will not believe, because I work with charities and communities, most people seem to think life is a burden that they have to put up with, when it's the most greatest gift there is. Just the sensations that you're doing when you're clapping, just the sensations of the food are phenomenal. The beauty of a mother and a child, just the way it kind of all works out in this world, I think it's just amazing. Just watching, just watching children apart, it's just amazing how life is and village life is, and it's just the community spirit of everything, watching older people that are in couples sitting on park benches, and you think, isn't that amazing that love can last so long and that they have that kind of feeling. All right. And for me, really, because whilst I'm a trainer, I like peace and quiet and being alone time. For me, it's really the beauty and serenity of things where you can go away and you can hide away from the rest of the universe and find peace and serenity. But all of life is a gift, and that's the way that we need to live it. I have deliberately messed up the technology. Here's the proof I'm going to give you. Is the scientific proof, all right, that gratitude works in that particular way. So I haven't got the PowerPoint slide, but imagine, all right, that, and it's a guy called Robert Emmons, all right, who's done most of the research, and this is now being repeated across the whole world. You take 100 people and you tell them, write a gratitude journal, all right? Write some good things that happen to you on a Tuesday, Thursday and a Sunday, all right? And we'll look at what happens to your life in 10 weeks' time. You take another people and you go, do you know what? I think you should write hassles. So Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, write some hassles, the irritations that you've had, the traffic lights being red instead of green. Another group, write whatever you like. Just describe your day. And then after 10 weeks, you look at them. those people that did gratefulness feel far happier, yeah? Their blood pressure is a lot more relaxed. For some random reason, they've suddenly started doing more exercise than the other two groups. You start to heal your body, you produce the right chemicals that kind of make recovery a lot more. Yeah. And if you're the hassle group, it goes in the other direction, yeah, and the control group remains the same. It's just in 10 weeks of doing that. So it just takes 3 months, basically. It's a dramatic increase in the first 2 weeks, followed by the third week to the third month is slightly slower. You get dramatic increases in your health and well-being as a result of just on a regular basis thinking about good things. So, one of the key questions is, all right, what comes first? Chicken or the egg? Are happy people more grateful, or are grateful people more happy? And most of the research has shown again that grateful people become happier. And happiness doesn't necessarily lead to gratefulness, nor does it lead to success. And most of the research, which was done by Harvard graduates, so what they did was they followed Harvard graduates for about 60 years, and they discovered that those that were grateful in their life on a daily basis and lived that kind of life ended up being happier, and happy people tended to be more successful and achieve the goals that they wanted to. And that meant that they had better relationships with their partner, that they spent a lot more time taking care of their body and therefore exercising, and that they were financially successful by working hard and studying and doing those kind of things. So there is a very strong correlation that actually just being grateful creates success in your life. Isn't that amazing? If you want to make more money, just be grateful. If you want a better marriage, just be more grateful for your partner, if you can. So one person, Oprah Winfrey, for instance, when we were talking about changing lives, she started this about 25 years ago. She kept a journal. She did it every day, and she has been known to say on many occasions, the thing that changed her life, that transformed her from just being what she was to being a super person that's capable of running that company, was gratefulness. And I have done this exercise in the past few years where I tell people to keep a grateful journal. The ones that do say it transforms their life. Yet, less than 1 in 10 will actually do it. So it's kind of interesting that most people are not motivated to do it, despite the fact telling me to my face, to my eyes, they will do that. But where they have, that's the kind of transformation that takes now. The other thing is that you've got to have patience. That means you've got to do it for 3 months, because the transformation, the breakthroughs occur from about 6 weeks onwards. But even if you only keep it for a short while, it makes a dramatic difference. So a quick exercise on that one. I call it the stop, look, go, that you can do any time. I have, just to give it, my life is a lot easier because I forget things, and as I get older, I can't remember what to do, but I have an alarm at 12:15 every day, and it reminds me to do the stop, look, go. If you're crossing the road, what would you do? You stop. You look left and right and see what's going on, and then you go across. So that is connected to mindfulness and just at the wonder of the universe. At that time, or whenever time you like, pick a moment when you're okay. For me, it's 12:15, because about 12:30 I'm going to go out for lunch, so I can do it at that time. But I stop. Just stop what you're doing. Stop on the computer. Stop in the park. Stop walking, wherever you're doing. And then just pay attention to what's around you. You'd be amazed how beautiful ants can be, that you might find. You'd be amazed how a lamppost is, all right, and the colours and the different shades of grey that are a lamppost. You'd be amazed that you can look at a brick and you go, wow, that is incredible. All you saw was the house, but when you look at one brick and then just like 1 inch, it is amazing. Just go and try it on a regular basis, and you find that you start to appreciate what's around you, and that makes, and I know it sounds corny, but that just makes better connections. You start to appreciate your partner more. I know it's kind of different, but because you're practicing appreciation of the tiny things, you start to appreciate your mother that gave you life. And some of the irritations that you have suddenly start to vanish. You become transformed as a person, and that's all you have to do. Stop, appreciate what's around you, okay? Go means take some action on that process, and that's a very simple exercise. So I recommend that you do that and you put different times on it. And you do that after 3 months, this is what happens. Your worldview changes, all right? There is a moment when you were like this and now you're like that. And that worldview is, all right, the two basic beliefs that change is from scarcity to abundance. You know, we're programmed for scarcity. We're programmed to think, you know, we need to do this. That's why we work so hard. All right. That's why we compete. That's why we do that. That's why we do that. But if you knew that all of that was there and it was available to you, that attitude wouldn't exist. And I was watching a TV program on the arts section about a week ago, because my partner's an artist, and it was on Dolly Parton, all right, and her life story. And I immediately fell in love with this song. So I only heard it really for the first time last week, and I have to use it, which was My Coat of Many Colours. And if I knew how to play the technology, I'd actually be playing that on the PowerPoint right now. She was one of 12 children living in Tennessee on a poor farm. All right, they had absolutely nothing. If you think what you've got is nothing, or you think benefits is nothing, what they had was really nothing. And then one day her mother, because it was getting cold, needed to make her a coat. There was no money to make a coat. She got donations of different cloths. Because they're all different colours, she had to use them to make a coat. And that's how Dolly Parton got a coat. And then the kids made fun of her because she was poor. But her life in her head was this part of the song, which is, although we had no money, I was as rich as I could be. In my coat of many colours, my mama made for me. And as far as she knew, she was rich. You couldn't tell her that she was poor, and it doesn't matter what the other kids said. And that is what, one of the things that Oprah Winfrey said, is that if you live your life, all right, where in scarcity, or if you live in ungratefulness, if you think about the negatives, yeah, then you won't get any more. But if you live in abundance and you've only got nothing, you will get $2 or £2, and you'll get more, and you'll get relationships until you grow abundance itself. So it has to start with you, that gratefulness. Focus on gratefulness and what you have. So if you focus on what you haven't got, it ain't going to come anymore. But if you can just focus on what you do have, what it does do is transforms the psychology of your brain, where you're not worried about fear, you're not worried about other things, and it gives you a chance to connect with other human beings, to support each other, to learn, to be educated, and over time that creates the abundance there is. So if you do it, you will change from scarcity to abundance. The other one is you go from love to fear. All right? No, sorry, you go from fear to love. That's the only one I could find on the internet to do. But we're born with the reptilian brain, which is designed for fear, okay? And it's designed to save your life. It does a great purpose. If there is danger, you will detect it and it will save your life. But you don't, in today's world, want to spend 99% of your time in fear, because all those dangers don't exist. And so gratitude puts you in a state of love rather than a state of fear. And love is what we were born with. Fear is what we learnt here, and it's part of our job is to unlearn it. And the way to dissolve fear is just be amazingly grateful for what is around us. But yes, I hope that was useful, and you can do that exercise yourself as well. But please do the stop one and the look, and just appreciate what's around you. And you can pick different times and different moments when you want to do that, and trust me, it will transform your life. So thank you very much.